Hey folks, welcome back to the farm. Today what we're going to do is we're going to feed some red wigglers. I'm going to talk a little bit about the ingredients that I use that I feed them with, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. Stick around, and there's a funny part to this video. Got to watch through the whole thing though because it leads up into it. But this is what we've got. We've got our ingredients, and we've got a very important thing, the spoon. So let's go feed some worms. Right now there's a cat right next to that camera right there. If she knocks it over, I'm going to start over. But I cover all these bins up because the cats like to come in and lay on them. I don't know why. They haven't done it lately, but I still leave the covers on. So what we're going to do today is we are going to feed these red wigglers. Now, if you've got one or two bins, you probably don't have to carry around this like I do. It's all my three different worm areas in the wormery here. Um, and it's all my own fault because I have so much stuff. These worms are fed like royalty. They get a buffet, you know, every feeding. But what we're going to do, I'm going to kind of describe what I've got here for ingredients, and we're going to feed these worms. I got my little plastic cover on here. They pretty much chewed through the paper bag that I put on top since the last feeding. That's great. The moisture in here, good. I'm not going to have to worry too much about putting moisture on. I am going to spray the food down a little bit because it is dry. So speaking of food, let's talk about that. I also like to put these on in a certain pattern, mostly because I'll explain it as I go along. Okay, first thing we're going to put down, very important tool, spoon. This is dried greens. Now I dehydrate, if it's green or sometimes even brown, I'll dehydrate it and grind it. This, if it was in a bucket, would be huge. But because it's ground up, it's not huge, but it's power packed. The worms are going to get on this. This is a high nitrogen food, but also, because it's kind of dried out and all that, can kind of serve as to soak up the moisture and as a carbon in a way too. I like to put that down first. Next thing I'm going to put down is my shredded cow manure. It's somewhat moist. It's not dry, full of good bacterias. The worms love it. They're called manure worms for a reason. They like that. Now, why am I putting this down second? Because it's kind of fluffy, and it's even in little tiny clumps. It's dry. It's not squishy. Don't worry about it. And that's going to help to maintain kind of an air pocket thing for when I put down the other ingredients. Now, you know me, if you watch my videos, leaves. These are my ground up leaves. They are probably fed every time that I feed the worms because that's what worms pretty much live in. Whether they're in a field or a forest, they're living in the dry, partially broken down materials that are in wherever it is. Important on the ground up leaves, that air barrier from the manure, you don't want to put it on thick. If you do, it can actually, if you wet it down, it'll actually mat down and can kind of, not saying that it would form an anaerobic condition from blocking the air off, but I just don't want to take the chance. So I put them on a little bit later. Coffee. I like chock full of nuts. I don't know. What kind of coffee do you like? I like chock full of nuts. I actually mix it with another coffee that I get that's chocolate, and I mix them half and half. I love it. No, I haven't had too much coffee. I just take that and sprinkle it in. Now, I allow my coffee to sit out side even, not in the rain, but so that it gets that little bit of mold on it. Now, worms like that kind of thing. That's bacteria, that's fungi, that's good stuff. Don't knock over my camera. Thank you. And I just give them a good dose of that. Now, like I said earlier, if I only had 1 or 2 bins, I wouldn't have to do all this. But I've got 21 some odd bins right now. So I have to have a lot of it, and that's not going to all fit in one, whatever. You know what I mean? I carry it around in this, but I have to have a lot of it. Now, I see a lot of folks, and I imagine they can't have too many bins because I'm big on recycling, okay? All my extra food scraps and all that, they definitely go to the worms. But once I got over like 4 or 5 bins, I couldn't possibly have enough food scraps. So I feed a worm chow. Well, that's another thing that takes a whole lot of ingredients to put together. My worm chow is primarily flour, cornmeal, pretty much anything I can dehydrate and throw in there. Beans, I grind up beans. I grind up rice. And it makes a good all-around food for them. It's easy for the worms to get to. It's easy for them to digest. And it fattens the worms up really good. Give you guys a little bit more down on this side. Now, talking about how do you get all the ingredients? Well, leaves are pretty much simple, okay? You're going to get those from your lawn. I get them from my neighbor's lawn. I get them from the transfer station, or a lot of people call the dump or whatever. People bag them up and they bring them there. I throw them in my truck and we're good to go. Another good place that I get a lot of my dry goods for my worm chow is, believe it or not, at the dollar stores. Dollar General, General Dollar, all those different types of places. Oh, we need some moisture for this. So I'm not adding this moisture to moisten the bedding, because the bedding is already at a really good moisture. I'm adding this to kind of soften up all the grains and the coffee and the manure, although that was already pretty moist anyway, the worm chow. And so that will be plenty. I really should run up and get another paper bag. This was a half of a grocery bag just the other day. They were hungry, which is surprising because they only got fed just a couple of days ago. But anyway, all right, they're good to go. Talking about where else to get food for your worms. Well, I get a lot of mine naturally. I go outside. I've got comfrey growing. Well, it's not growing too good now. It is, the second week of December. But a lot of weeds that you get, stuff that you just normally would throw away or whatever, they make a great worm food. Again, I try to do my worms as naturally as possible. And what better natural than what they would normally eat if they were out there? It's got all the vitamins and the minerals and the nutrients and all that they need. The coffee, I did a little bit of reading and they said that the coffee, even though it's already been through the process of being brewed, still maintains a lot of nutrients. So go down to your local Starbucks, go down to your local coffee place. I'm sure they'd be happy to give it to you. I'm fortunate that I've got a restaurant that I work with, so all of their leftover greens and fruits and vegetables, I get them. I don't know what I would do if I didn't really have them. Not with the amount of worms that I have. I really don't know what I would do. I know the wife and I, we definitely do not make enough scraps to feed all these worms. So it's good to go out, look at different places. You'd be surprised. You know the big 36 egg cartons and all that work great for a lot of different things. I use them, believe it or not, to do my carrots in. I pop the seed down in each individual one of those shells. Works really good, keeps the weeds down, and it provides moisture for the carrot seeds to germinate. Did I get off track here? Probably. Look around. You can find food different places. Oh, the egg carton things. Go down to your local breakfast eatery. They serve breakfast and lunch. They have tons of those, and they have to take them and put them out in their dumpster. Weight and space. They'd be happy to give them to you so they don't fill up their dumpster. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm doing this really quick. A lot of times, I like to really take the time out and look at the worms. See what they're doing. See what the populations are. See if there's anything obviously wrong with what's going on inside. You guys look good. Check the moisture. Check the population. Take a quick scan. You seeing any cocoons? That'll give you a good idea as to what's going on in your bin. Mites. Are you seeing any mites, springtails? That kind of thing. That can let you know that maybe the conditions aren't perfect. You're never going to get the conditions perfect. But take a look around. See what's going on inside of your bin. A lot of folks have fears of using leaves, thinking that they're going to bring in little pests and all that kind of thing. They're probably not going to bring in anything that the worms and the biology in the bin can't handle already. You know, it's very common. I've had the gnats. Yeah, in the summertime. Yep. Those are pretty easy to get rid of using the mosquito bits and the little traps that you make up with the vinegar and a little bit of dish soap and water. Your bin will usually be able to take care of everything. Overwatering and overfeeding are about the biggest things that I've seen that cause problems. I already added that. I think I did. Have some more. Okay. Again, this bin is already about a perfect moisture. I'm not adding the moisture to moisten the bedding. I'm adding to kind of soften up this powdery food. I mean, you wouldn't want to be eating powdery stuff either. Add a little milk to that cereal. This one actually could use another bag too, but that's all right. All right, so where do you get stuff to make worm chow from? I think we talked about that a little bit. Go to your dollar stores. That is a great place to get stuff really, really cheap rather than going to your regular grocery store. I know I can get a bag of rice for $1, $1.25, whatever it is now, compared to, $3 at your grocery store. Again, moisture's good. Worm population's good. Now I just reset all of these bins here in the cat comfy room, or the comfy cat room, middle of October. So it's been about almost 2 months. Nowhere near being ready to harvest. A lot of carbon. I will be adding carbon on the next feeding, but these guys got a ways to go. These will be spring castings for my farm. Get down there, buddy. Oh, talking again about where to get the food for your worm chow or any of these other things. Take a look at this little video that I just did.
Hi, Jim. Good to see you. What's up?
Hey, really good to see you too.
What can I do for you?
Well, I don't know. I kind of came over to see if maybe you had some expired grains or maybe some rotten stuff in your refrigerator.
Uh, you know what? No.
I have another neighbor to go to next. Okay, I hope you found that entertaining. The wife and I found it entertaining to put together. But there's a lot of truth to it. Sometimes your neighbors, friends, they have things. They might have that 5-year-old bag of expired oatmeal sitting in the back of their cabinet, or that 9-week-old bag of lettuce that's taking up space in the refrigerator. I don't know. If I had a 5-year-old expired bag of anything, I would have had to have been dead for like 4 years. We'll keep adding the ingredients. You guys a little bit more of that too. They love this minced up, chopped up greens. Oh, they love it. And they love their delicious ground up leaves. Good carbon for them. If you got a moist bin, this is excellent stuff. A little helpful hint. I see a lot of folks using sawdust in their bins. Okay, nothing wrong with sawdust. What can be a problem is if it comes from a chainsaw. I do a lot of woodwork, both carpentry, nice stuff, and I cut a lot of trees down too. If you're using a chainsaw, that blade has got an oiler, and there's oil coming out on those wood chips. Not probably the best idea to use wood chips that come from a chainsaw. And I hate to say it, but that even goes as far as, getting them from your arborist. Now, most of what you're going to get from an arborist have gone through a chipper, a machine that's chipped them down, and that's not going to have the oils on it. Not enough to speak about anyway. But if you're getting it from somebody that's using a chainsaw or something like that, no, you don't want to do that. I don't know. There's just something kind of comforting about doing this. Relaxing. Until you hit that one worm and you see it go straight down. Okay, what else have I got on my list here? Oh, my worm chow also can contain a little bit of azomite, a little bit of eggshells, a little bit of agricultural lime. Careful what kind of lime you get. You don't want the pelletized stuff that you throw out on your yard. Go to your Tractor Supply or your farm store and ask for agricultural lime. They'll know what you're talking about because that doesn't have any other chemicals inside of it. That's pretty much about it. I'm not gonna make you guys sit around and watch me do the rest of these. I think I pretty much said everything that I wanted to say in this video. I hope that you found something, maybe anything, that can help you out on your worm farm or in your worm bins. That's my goal with these videos. I do it, for fun. I enjoy it. I really do have a passion for these guys, gals, that I call them. And I'm sure you probably do too. If you're watching this video and you've got them, you probably know what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching, folks. I really do appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later.